Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Living World of Darkness. This is a scene for the Changeling venue. We begin our scene here with the young Sir Rychard. He's had a bit of a time. He's recently found out more about his Fey heritage. He has found his house. He has found his station. He has found that perhaps what all the commoners whisper about the She may not be entirely incorrect. He was put just now into a very hard situation where there was really no way to win. He was pitched against his mentor and his mentor's wife in front of an audience of commoners, and nobody did very well. So he has decided to take a little bit of a break. He has returned to the Grey World to calm himself down. He doesn't know it yet, but what he is reflexively doing is he is balancing out the maddening effects of the dreaming with the banality of the Grey World. This is a tactic that every changeling learns in this first year, and some use this better than others. So, we'll begin with young Gwydion. Take it away, Rob.
Alright. Rychard is going to walk into a convenience store, and he's going to go up to the counter, and he's going to ask for a pack of Marlboro Reds, put his money down, and not even wait for change. He just walks out.
Okay, it's not exactly the sort of place that would ask for ID, so you just wander out, and perhaps it seems a little annoying to you now, this chimerical reality that you are constantly seeing. Nothing is how you knew it before. Everything is popping out at you. You see the spirits, the dreams, the hopes of everybody swirling about streets that you probably know quite well.
It's not a comforting thing at this point. And, you know, he's going to light a cigarette up, and he's going to continue walking, and hopes for other people's sake that nobody tries to get in his way at the moment. He's just walking around, sort of mumbling to himself, where did he get off? He didn't even, and what he said.
Luckily, you're in New York City. It's quite crowded. So since you aren't saying any of this loudly, people actually have places to go, and they just continue to shove and move past you as normal.
Pretty much that, if, you know, and he thinks back, you know, he just kind of thinks to himself that it'd be nice to talk to somebody who is just as fed up as he is at the moment. So he'll sort of take a break at a, I don't know, on a street corner or something, and just lean against a wall.
And he has already used his contacts too.
Yeah, this has already happened. He's already used contacts that he had in the medical field. Being a boxer and growing up the way he did, especially defending people a lot and getting into trouble. You know, he made friends with a couple of EMTs who became ER doctors and stuff like that. So he used them to find out where this individual named Miss Nielsen worked, who he had run into in a bar, who he has now found out or figured out that she is an adhene. And he's curious about them.
All right. So you're given the name of an institution, actually, when you used your contacts. And it's a facility for memory care.
Mm-hmm.
Describes itself. It's the senior center.
Right.
So, anyways, right before you go in, though, you notice that something is a little bit wrong, perhaps. Bits of the chimerical reality sort of curve towards in a way, and it fluxes oddly towards the side of the building.
Mm-hmm.
You will see a woman. She's somewhere in her 20s, maybe early 30s. It's hard to get the right age range there. She's leaning down to get a cigarette, and the reason that it's so hard as she struggles for a lighter and so forth to figure out how old she is because you're a lot more interested in the fact that she, on top of her, coming more towards your line of vision than just this regular woman, is a woman that is leaning down in the same pose, struggling to light a cigarette sticking out of her mouth, only she is naked except for a loincloth and has kind of small right now, I suppose, deer antlers.
Mm-hmm.
Her nose actually isn't as big and slit as you remember either, if this is the same woman. It's odd.
Gonna sort of walk up to her and Miss Nielsen.
Oh yeah, I'm almost on my and she looks up at you and she stops explaining why she's late for her shift and just kind of stares at you.
Hi.
Why have you come here?
Um. Me? I was just curious, actually.
It seems like she has perpetual night lighting on her. The the light levels on her chimerical form are just strange, and you see her sort of back away from you, and up past the brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
Without a cunning roll, it's hard to tell if this is happening in the real world as well. You see little vines and stuff climb up the bricks suddenly, almost cartoonishly.
I'll do that canning roll.
Okay.
That's okay. Yep. And attention to detail, but yeah, nothing. So.
Okay, well, you see it happening. You don't get any extra clues, though.
I'm not here other than yeah, I'm not here for any other reason other than curiosity. You had asked if I had anything precious to me.
Yes.
I didn't then. And he'll reach into his pocket and he'll pull out a beat up guitar pick. It's not much, but I've used it quite a lot. I was actually using it the night that I chrysalised.
Why are you giving something that matters to you to me?
You're a curiosity to me. I don't know much about this. And he'll look around, and in chimerical reality, his wings will sort of go out and then back in.
I don't know if I actually desire to be she's plaything.
Not a plaything. You're not an object.
Are you
of
giving me
course.
the guitar pick?
Yeah, why not? Okay, put it in her hand.
And as soon as her hands clasp around it, you see her sort of stretch, and she becomes taller, taller than you, actually. Um,
Okay.
not like like by feet kind of thing, but just a couple inches taller than you, and her antlers sprout more branches. I don't know the real term for it. Her hair
Points.
gets longer. Her nose gets much thinner, but slits go up a little bit, and you see that fangs appear on her teeth. Thank you.
Something you needed?
Yes. Yes. It's getting trickier.
What is, if you don't mind me asking?
Need people to give me things.
What is that about, exactly?
I suppose there's no point in withholding information now. War's done and whatnot. We live with you. How strange. I never thought it'd come to that. But this, and she holds the guitar pick to you, and you see it glow, and every bit around her hand just seems to glow, and it almost, because you've seen it so much before, I'm not going to make you roll, it almost looks like dross. The way it's feeding into her body, though, it isn't like anything you've ever seen before.
Huh.
This goes back to when we were lords of the forest and people would sacrifice to us. It's not what it was, but I don't think we could ever completely give it up.
You were once lords of the forest?
Oh yes, the she will tell you that they were there first, but the trolls had the same story, and so do the red caps.
I know.
Everybody does, but we were first. We were there before humans could actually say what they feared.
You guys are the elder, right?
The dark kin.
Why call yourselves that?
It's not an insult.
The forest holds beauty within it. Why associate yourself with something frightening?
You know, a lot of my kind, they don't really join me in embracing this new world. They want to they want to go back to the old country, to us, to the dreaming. It's more real to us most of the time than this place is, but I spend a lot of time here trying to learn it, me and some other people, and there was this amazing quote. I don't suppose that you watch Doctor Who?
No, not really. Out of character, yes, but
Um, let me think about the right. What did he exactly say? The main character is an alien, and he explains to a human that fear is a superpower. He goes on to say that you are never more alive than when you are afraid. And it's something that any adhene would understand.
I
Because
understand that.
he tells the small child, actually, who is having problems with nightmares, that your heart is beating so hard that you can feel it through your hands. There's so much blood and oxygen pumping through your brain. It's like rocket fuel. I had to look that up. Right now, that little child, he tells him, could run faster and fight harder and jump higher than ever before. And this is true. Literally, you're so alert that your perception of time changes. It's akin to being in the actual dreaming, being afraid. And we harness that, and we embrace it and celebrate it. And that's why we're not insulted to be called the Darkkin. I can say it a million other ways, but it's something I don't think the she will ever understand.
Doesn't seem like. And he'll sort of look away at this moment, and his jaw will clench for a moment. And he'll go, it doesn't seem my kind of very understanding. At all.
Much as I dislike and try and stay away from most she, we did lose to them some thousand years ago, several thousand years ago, I lose count. They are more understanding than my kind, though. I will freely admit that if we'd had the chance, you wouldn't be alive. You certainly wouldn't be on our lands. You will never be allowed on the lands that we still control in the far dreaming.
Your home is your home.
But you are letting us live in your home now. It doesn't make them saints. I don't know if they're still villains in my eyes.
Well, not all villainy is obvious.
And, you see her look a little disappointed, kind of like maybe she has a slight headache, and you see her start to shrink down a little bit more, and she starts to get to your height, maybe a little bit shorter, maybe about 3 inches, kind of where she was before. And her antlers go back more delicately towards her forehead now with less branches. Her hair gets a little bit shorter. And her fangs kind of sink back in and start to look more like normal teeth. Her nose returns to more of a human-esque sort of one.
Are you okay?
Yes. But, yeah. I suppose that wouldn't last permanently. The sacrifice is good. You ever want to please the Lord of the Forest, you give them a sacrifice.
See. If you don't mind me asking, did you fight in the war?
Which one?
The recent one.
Yes. My third war against the Changelings.
Third.
Yes. First one was with the Fomorians pitted against the Tuatha De Danann.
I don't remember.
Tuatha De Danann?
Would be the proper term.
Well, that is their name. The lords that commanded us were known as the Fomorians. I haven't seen them in... It's more than 10,000 years now. 11?
I've read something about the Tuatha and the
They were...
Fomorians.
They were like gods back then. Everybody was, in some way. Never understood them, though. Fomorians were more like us from the beginning. Could talk to them, fight with them, against them.
Weren't they
Sometimes.
beings from the sea?
What?
Weren't they beings from the sea?
I
The
don't know.
ocean.
Evolution?
The ocean.
Oh, the ocean. Don't know. I didn't ask where they came from. And the second one was the War of Trees. That was over the dreaming of Ireland. 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. The humans changed when they wanted it to happen, so the timeline changed.
I see.
That's something you learn after a couple thousand years. It's not so much about how it happened the first time, it's how people remember it happening.
1,000 years?
Or it might have been 2,000 years ago.
I'm still trying to cope with the 19 I have.
You're 19. I don't think I've ever met an adhene babe that was that young. Although, who knows what can happen now.
Alright.
We're in a brand new world. That's what I keep on trying to tell them. We can do anything here. We don't have to fight. We can if we want. We can take what we want. We can reach for more, too. We can be gods again.
But wouldn't that be a whole bunch of responsibility?
To get proper sacrifices? I think that'd be worth it. That little guitar pick will feed me for a month. But human lives? Can you imagine if somebody actually gave their life to me? Not since the War of Trees have I felt that before. I forget what that feeling actually is. If somebody's blood run for you deliberately and have them want it,
I wouldn't know anything about that.
no, of course not, she. You take what, memories or something from them?
Dreams.
Well, the actual dreams. Oh. Seems complicated.
To me, it seems complicated too, but haven't tried yet. But it seems like something I'd be able to do. Sort of like the guitar pick, I guess. When I was using that, I was playing. I was hoping that my music would reach others, that they would enjoy it.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Hmm?
So when you meet a human and you want to feed from them. What I've been doing is attacking them, frightening them, and taking out the essence, the power that they exude from there, and taking it into myself. What are you doing?
Well, I've heard of other ways, better ways even, because
How is it better? Does it yield more?
I would say over time,
Over time, so you keep them
when,
as cattle?
no, we keep them as dreamers.
But what is a dreamer?
Someone who dreams, I guess. I'm not sure.
But how is this not like cattle?
Because humans are the source, I guess. Humans help. As much they're the source for you, right?
Yes.
Well, when somebody has hope or love, there's an essence in that as well. Almost a
Get that out by,
pure. Hmm?
and you extract that by,
Just being around them. Sharing in their hope. Sharing their dreams. I would assume.
let me try it if I already have enough. Because that's what I keep on trying to tell Unknown, that we have to try different things to live here.
It would
But
seem.
I have to say, this doesn't seem to make sense to me. It's so very hard to talk to a human and just wait for the right feeling. What makes it better than me going up to them and frightening them?
Well, frightening them makes them wary, makes them afraid, makes them less. I would assume makes them less apt to be around you. Were they to want to be around you? I guess the way it's been said to me, I guess the best way to put it would be
You are 19 years old and you don't know that when you frighten somebody in this manner to take power from them, they don't remember it?
no. I've never wanted to frighten.
They don't remember. Although I don't see the people again, we learn that they don't remember.
I wouldn't want to frighten. I spent most of my life protecting people from that kind of fear. Everyone has a right to life, a right to happiness.
Why?
Because they exist.
And that automatically gives them rights?
Gives you rights, doesn't it?
What are my rights, she?
To exist.
That is not what some she, very vocal she, were saying a year ago.
Perhaps they are wrong.
Interesting.
Those that exist, I believe, have three basic rights: life, liberty, and happiness. When you take a person's life, liberty, or happiness without just cause, you revoke your right to yours. It's simple. Can almost be construed as naive. It's worked my entire life. As short as that.
Not something that I can understand, but it is something that I've seen on Facebook. Some of my friends and co-workers belong to political parties that say things like that.
Human politics is run by money. I assume she politics is no different, except where money is concerned, favors and objects and glamour is involved.
It's good to know that they make no sense to you either. And she grins, and you see actually that even though her teeth went down, there are still some fangs and sharp teeth in there.
So, he's just gonna, I heard a rumor that the adhene sort of take bodies.
What of it?
Is it true?
I get upset if I talk about taking away humans. What would this be? Liberty, I suppose? Taking away humans' liberty?
Just cause.
Rather my life than theirs. Yes, we do take bodies. Some of us are a lot better at it than others.
Do you take willing human bodies, or how does that work?
She arches her back a little bit. Why are you asking me this? I think you know the answers.
I actually don't.
Okay.
It's
What are you gonna do if you hear something you don't want to hear?
I've heard a lot of things I don't want to hear tonight. What's a few more?
Alright. No, they're not willing. They never are.
What if you could find willing bodies? Like, what if you could take, say, somebody who's brain dead? Can you make their body work again?
I don't know. We might need an active brain in there. When we come into this world, it's... What's the point? War's over. When we come into this world, it's horrifying. You only have seconds to find something. On average, you only have seconds. I only had seconds.
I didn't know.
If you don't find something, then you die. You are ripped apart by this world. Because it hates you being here, I suppose. Just as the dreaming is so fond of us.
That's an odd metaphor, don't you think?
I wondered about it. Silver Path doesn't like us, of course, but everywhere else seems to help out.
The Silver Path, isn't that a construction of my kind?
No. Like the she could have done that. The Tuatha De Danann did that. to facilitate roads during the war, to log supplies back and forth. That's what the Silver Path is there for. It's not some little highway for you to get from one place to another protected, although that's what it's turned into. There's always supply routes.
I see. I never gave thought to that.
It was a big deal back in the day.
I would assume that's how all roads started. I mean, wasn't Rome the first to physically
We were
build
almost gone
roads?
by that time. But I know very vaguely of what you're talking about, yes. I saw an HBO show here about Rome.
I don't watch much TV.
I find I have to be able to stay here. I need to do a lot of that. It's very odd.
When you live like that, your TV is kind of an expense that you don't have.
Maybe I'm spending too much money. I haven't quite learned that either.
Money is money. I mean, it's little bits of paper that have significant meaning for some reason.
Yes. It's like huge chunks of humanity's progress is gone. I've missed a lot. And they're so much more difficult to work with now. I can't just show up and frighten them and they give me everything. It's a process now. I have to corner them.
It sounds almost like hunting.
Now it is, yes. To track somebody. It's rewarding when you finally get it, though. And that is like hunting, too.
Hunting I enjoy. Frightening people, not so much.
Well, then. Your aim is really not to kill me.
No.
How about sometime you come back here and we go hunting a dreamer and you show me how you reap. What you do instead of frightening.
Perhaps. I think I'd like that.
Okay, I'll do that. My shift is honestly about to end. Probably should have ended about 30 minutes ago. So I hope they haven't noticed. I came out here for a smoke break and they kind of all smoked, so I thought I could press my luck.
Eh. Hopefully they won't be too angry.
They let a lot of stuff slide in there. So I don't think it'll be too bad. Alright, you obviously know how to contact me. But you can have my number.
Okay.
And she pulls out, like, what you see is a little checklist and stuff where she goes by and she counts the people are in the beds and stuff like that. She rips off a little scrap of paper, writes down her number, and hands it over to you.
Alright. I'll take it.
Okay. I've got a Facebook account, too.
I don't use computers very often, except in a library or something. Again, expense I don't have.
I see. All right then. Until we meet again.
Sure.
And you see her, she, stubs out the last of her cigarette, kind of flicks it to the side. And as she walks away, the little vines and so forth that were on the bricks, they kind of wither and they fall off and die. And the lighting on her that doesn't seem to match anything else, that looks like still kind of bluish, like she's in the moonlight, follows her along there as her antlers are still quite small. You do notice that when she goes through the doorway, though, she ducks a little bit.
Right. Sort of like I now have to twist to the side.
Yep. Dreaming's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And she disappears within. Okay, and if you're okay with this, we'll end the scene here.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thanks to anybody who watched. There's a she and an adhene actually talking. Go figure.
All right.
Gwydion, actually. Wow. Anyways, yeah. Good night, guys.